Hi friends, David here from Above AVL and Learn Stage Audio. And in this video, we're going to talk about, should you go with powered or passive speakers? Why? And does it really matter? Let's dive in. If you've ever looked at speakers, you probably see on the market there are such things called passive speakers. And that is, this is a speaker. This is a passive speaker from Martin Audio. And it has on the back speak on plugs, or sometimes 1/4-inch plugs also, to accept power from an external amplifier. Okay. Passive speakers are great. Passive speakers have been around longer than active speakers, and they can do a lot of good things for your stage. But these days, if you go around and you're looking at speakers and you're thinking about buying it, if you start to add up the cost, you go, okay, speaker plus amp plus speaker cable, you start to run across active speakers. I mean, they've been around for years, but you look at an active speaker, and this is a Yamaha DXR10, great speaker. And these are a little bit different because they take a line level signal from your mixer or mic level. A lot of them can take a mic level signal too. And they take power because they have the amplifier built in. Okay. So there's going to be some advantages there. There's going to be a disadvantage or two. Let's talk about it. Okay. So, here in the modern day, powered speakers have never ever been a better deal. Now, I'll just give it a hug, a good passive speaker. Why? Well, when you have it sized with an amp properly and set up in your rig, the wiring is going to be really clean, like on your stage, because it's just one wire to each speaker. We'll talk about that in a second. There's nothing for people on stage or people that move the equipment around or volunteer sound people, musicians. There's no knobs, there's nothing that they can adjust or mess with to mess you up. And, kind of once you've got everything configured in the amp and locked out, you really can't screw it up. Plug the speaker in, you can move it around, you can set it up different places, and you're going to be good all day long. That's why, I'm always a little hesitant to recommend active speakers, like for church stages, for monitors and stuff like that, because you go, well, on this side, there's volume knobs and there's switches and selectors and all sorts of stuff that you can hit, as well as a power switch that somebody could hit and then be like, oh no, my monitor's not working. What's going on? Right. At the start of a church service or an event. I love the simplicity of a passive speaker. However, active speakers have some chief advantages. Let's talk about them. When it comes down to it, if you take an active speaker and a passive speaker that have the same components in them from the same manufacturer, literally like Yamaha, we love Yamaha, and they've got a lot of models where they have a C model and they have a D model. And they're essentially very, very, very similar speakers, just the D model is powered. The C model would be passive, right? And when you compare them head to head, both on paper and to just, with your brain hearing them, there's a couple things you're going to notice about powered speakers. You're going to notice that they're louder. They have a louder max SPL. They have typically a higher sensitivity. They're louder. They sound better. Why do they sound better? There's going to be two primary reasons why. The first, when you run a single NL4, just a 2-conductor cable, like an NL4 with only 2 wires in it, kind of a typical speaker wiring, to a crossover inside of a passive speaker like this, you don't get quite as good of a sound as when you bi-amp, okay? Bi-amping is where the high frequency driver at the top of the speaker and the low frequency driver are powered separately. Why is this helpful? It helps the sound of transients, it helps things to be a little more clear, and it helps the high end especially to perform better, because in a crossover, the high end is pushed down, it's damped down significantly, whereas in a bi-amp mode, you just use a smaller amplifier. You just push less wattage to it, or allow less wattage to it. You're not really pushing voltage, but anywho. And so because of that, you get a better sound. Now, some passive speakers, more professional ones, can be bi-amped, and you can use a 4-conductor cable to bi-amp that speaker. Even so, you still have to use DSP in order to make it sound truly its best, And you're going to have some losses just due to cable length of the powered cable. That's something that's been proven scientifically over and over again. That a long cable, even a short cable versus almost no cable, the almost no cable sounds better every time. Okay, that's been proven by a lot of people. Okay, so on the powered end, you're getting louder, better sounding because it's bi-amped. It has DSP that's tuned in the box. And with some manufacturers like Yamaha, you get an absurdly exceptional warranty on a powered speaker. Why? Because you can't hook up a really small amp to it and drive it into distortion and kill it and then go, hey guys, I got to do a warranty replacement. No, that's called you broke it. That's not a warranty replacement, right? So with a powered speaker, they're very foolproof in the sense of you can't underpower, overpower them, fry them really because everything's controlled inside the box. Other benefits are you can hook up a microphone straight to it. Doing a small function, set up some speakers and stands, wireless mic or even handheld mic right into the back, turn up the volume, boom, you're rolling. You got nothing else to do. With a passive speaker, amp rack, amplifiers, extra set of connections, etc. Now, what are some of the downsides though? So, some of the downsides with powered speakers, and this has always been a thing with powered speakers, is people go, okay, if it's up in the air, if it's 30 feet up in the air, 60 feet up in the air, way out of reach, something just fell over there, way out of reach, and the amplifier dies, I can't do anything about it. And I would say most quality speakers, once you get past the cheap price range, they have really good electronics that are designed to last. Like the argument goes, you could lose a driver as well on a speaker, right? Passive or powered. And then you got to go up and service the unit. So either way, like, yes, that's an argument, but I would say that's less and less valid than it's ever been. But it is something to think of. Like, truly, if you put a passive speaker up there and you don't overdrive them and blow them, generally a good quality passive speaker, it's going to last for some good lifetime. Like in a church, that could be up to 20 years, depending on how hard you drive it, right? And, if anything happens to the amplifier, it freaks out, whatever, it dies, you just go to the rack room, wherever that is, switch out the amplifier. Nobody has to get in the lift. It doesn't get complicated. It's easy, right? So there's pros and cons in each direction. But if you're looking for speakers and you're like, okay, I'm new to this. For one thing, modern powered speakers, you can get cables, and we can get cables for you that combine the power cord and the mic cable in one wire, right? It's one outer wire. They come up together, they split out at the end. So that kind of breaks the running two cables versus one more effort thing. On the other end, even if you don't use those combined cables, if you're in a room where you've got outlets in various places that are on the same phase, on the same circuit, etc., so we don't worry, hopefully, we don't have any ground to loop issues, then you could just plug in close to the speaker, right? And that can be a benefit as well, too. Regardless, if you're looking to buy a speaker today and you're like, okay, should I go powered? Should I go passive? As much as I love passive speakers, and I go, oh man, you should go passive. Like, there just aren't enough reasons to favor passive in a lot of situations. Where I still really like passive are places where you want to lock out controls, you have non-professional users, you don't want people messing with settings, etc. Because I mean, if you think about this, here on the back, I've got, let's see, I've got two settings. I've got the DSP mode and I've got the high pass filter. Then I've got a knob for the volume. I can switch it between mic and line level. And I've got a power switch. And any of those things, if somebody presses them, is going to change the output. It's going to mess up your setup, right? So places where you have inexperienced people potentially touching it, aka churches, for monitors and stuff on stage, I still tend to lean in the passive direction. But it's a hard decision, okay? For pretty much anything else, speakers on sticks like this, where you've got speakers up on stands, mains, areas where you don't have non-professional users touching the speakers, etc. I would say, gosh, there really isn't a great reason to go passive anymore in most cases. In most cases, not all cases are going to be angry people in the comments below going, blah, 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 blah. Now, in a lot of cases, man, going powered just makes a lot of sense, and it's going to save cost. It's going to be louder. It's going to be more clear. It's going to sound better. What have you got to lose? And today's modern powered speakers often are not a lot heavier than their passive counterparts. So, throw that one out the window. So if you liked this video, guys, and you're looking for some audio gear, hey, head over to aboveavl.com. You can either contact us right on the contact page, shoot us an email, or throw some audio in your cart and request a quote. We love to help people put packages together and compare different models, help you find what's going to be really great for your needs and get it into your hands. If that sounds good, we'll see you guys on the flip side over at aboveavl.com. And if you're subscribed, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.